Like he said, my name is Bear. Strangely Wonderful came out August 2nd, 2013. That was my live stream. I finally accomplished it. Created an anthology a year ago, or the idea for one at least. And right now I'm editing, selecting poems for it. And yeah, those were all my plugs. But definitely ask me if you have any questions or want to buy the book, or if you have questions about the anthology. This first piece I'm going to do is actually the newest piece I have, and the rest are from the book itself. This is called The Winter Cycle. It's kind of a look back at the winter months now that we're finally out of them, because I hate winter. The Winter Cycle. November, a mirror with teeth. The deeper you gaze into your own pain, the more it hurts everyone. A mirror reminds you to be thankful for what you're seeing, yet all you focus on is what's not reflected, what's not there, what's missing. Eat up, hide the pain, eat your feelings away, and watch the parade of mediocrity on the screen, because looking into the mirror is too painful to bear. You do not want to see your true self, so you put on your best self, which leads to falsehood. And then, lo, you have opened the door to December. December is cold and pretty and fake, like a dead prom queen in a green dress. Between lovers under mistletoe, falsely enchanted by the spell of the holiday, and family reunions more awkward than a first blind date that you found out was your cousin, the color red begins to seep into the dress. December's a bloody patchwork Frankenstein of sensationalized religion and consumerism begging, kill me, kill me. But the tradition is too popular, and the American heart is growing all too cold. Too cold to feel his loving hands around yours. Too cold to forgive scratches your heart sees as scars. Too cold to enjoy the sights of yuppies playing Christmas in the Tex-Mex scented air. Fabulous scarves wrapped around empty shells, singing meaningless carols they do not understand. You wind up not being able to stand any of it, especially the overly sentimental and cheesy holiday music, or the holiday shoppers and all their rude might and selfishness. You quickly find out the truth behind the fake personas of Santa Claus and Jesus Christ, and the real reason for the season, let me tell you, is money. The color of the dress is now green and red. Well, how festive. The color of blood money. For what else do you buy your presents with? And afterwards, you wait for January, bracing yourself like you're waiting for a crash. January is a barren-hearted lover, all wrapped up in false hope, broken promises, and bitter snow. After the half-hearted resolutions are made, she hits you like a brick. You promised. Why didn't you do what you said? Why didn't you make the time? Why won't you come outside and face my wrath like a man? Already the new year begins with a pain that could follow you through every anguished day if you let it. Disillusionment and heartbreak. Out with the old and in with the new. That's what they said, but alas, there is nothing new under the sun. The sins to be are old, old sins, and history repeats itself, swallows itself, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. January is the Ouroboros. That's not a new taste in your mouth, it's just a bold new lie. You are actually eating your own tail, and you are always biting off more than you can chew, losing yourself in the process. To truly know January is to be lost. February, contrary to popular belief, is actually a man. And how can he not be? Torn and forgetful, but loving and well-meaning, making up for those broken promises with roses that will die, chocolate that will fatten, pretty words on pretty cards that mean nothing except that sorry is the best that he can do. February is distant, because in that there's that part of him that's always on the outside looking in, the lonely bachelor wondering when he will find love. Part of him has already found it, and wonders why he keeps fucking up. February is a torn mask that says and means I love you through tattered lips that echo the failures that always follow those three words and wind up distorting their meaning. Will you be his Valentine? No. He shatters and implodes in a hurt flurry of broken candy hearts that all say, I'm so sorry, and taste as bitter as hell without you. March is an angry child, upset because his parents are not the heroes he once thought them to be. In like a lion and out like a lamb, he will pitch a windy and tumultuous temper tantrum until it finally dies down and whimpers and sobs, defeated and vulnerable. A rebellious son, he will break all of his toys and all of yours until his parents stop fighting. But January is resentful and February is aloof. He will twist and roar in a beautiful fury dance filled with guttural sobs and chaotic screams until he gets what he wants. And regardless of his wild behavior, what he really wants is peace, inner peace, and conflict resolution. But until that comes, he will freeze you and torment you relentlessly. He turns his victims into shadow forms of himself. If he can't be happy, neither can we. And if we cannot find happiness within ourselves, then all of the dark and cold minions of winter will whip our backs with icicles and hail, poisonous ceremonies and deadly viruses. Winter can be the 9th level of hell that is frozen over, or it can indeed be a wonderland of snowy treasures and familial love. You can either break the winter cycle or be broken by it. The choice is up to you. This next piece, I've marked them all in my book so I know where they are, as this is about a friend of mine. It's called The Truth About Walls. She is as tough as nails, yet vulnerable like roses, like an impenetrable wall that kept all attackers at bay during the day, but reeled every night from the full force of every blow, her tears crumbling down between the cracks of her stony armor. She was my protector, challenging all comers. She was my heart, asking the mirror each night if someone could love her without being deflected, without attacking her themselves and forcing her to be a wall again. She was Sister Moon, reflecting the awesome power of the sun in the middle of the night, hovering above anyone who would dare make another crater in her gray flesh. Sometimes I pray for a night that would come riding for her, wearing no armor, naked and free, vulnerable yet very strong. I would ask him to stand at the wall, gently walk up to it, and place roses in the cracks and the holes. I would ask him to kiss the wall in true earnest and love, and prove himself a man by the measure of his actions. As she turns back to herself, as the moon touches earth, as the wall crumbles away, I see her tracing the horizon of his scars, filling the holes in his chest with her hands, and maybe for once someone could protect her, and she could be loved, would be loved, and be able to wash the gray of stone away, and just be a woman, his woman. Thank you. This next one is actually about myself. It's called I Am Not a Writer. I am not a writer. Just a lost man in the desert making compasses out of question marks. I am not a writer. Just a traveler too broke to travel who still owns 1 million postcards. I am not a writer. Just a star yearning to be seen, burning itself out until it explodes. I am not a writer. Just a song no one plays but everyone knows the words to. I am not a writer, just a peasant who walks like a prince and loves like a god. I am not a writer, just a man who turns his pain into this beautiful beast you see now. I am not a writer, just a flicker of real darkness in a world of illusionary light. I am not a writer, just a dying man wondering why life is not lived by the living. I'm not a writer, just an artist without brushes, writhing around on a canvas of paper. I am not a writer, just a ghost haunting graveyards created by monsters of war. I am not a writer, just a fighter pinned down by disease who still won't stop swinging. I am not a writer, just a whisper twisting in chaos, tirelessly uttering one word: hope. You ever get tired of the pain that comes with being a poet and you feel like telling your muse to fuck off? This is one of those pieces. And this is the muse answering me back. It's called Reproach of the Muse. Once again I invoked the muse. Well, that was a mistake. She brought cheap booze and razor blades. I want a poem without the pain. She says, there's no growth without rain. Fuck that, I don't need torture to produce a masterpiece. Bitch, please. All of my lines dripping in blood is not fine. But if it's not your blood, then they're not your lines. Shut the fuck up, I'll just go on writer's block for a while then. That's for you to heal up before you're ripped apart again. I know, and it fucking sucks. It's so not worth this shit. None of it. So, I guess I can erase this world-changing masterpiece and be done with it? Would the pain be worth it? I can't tell you that, but it would be a lot. Who will it change? I can't tell you that, but it's a lot. How long is it? I can't tell you that, but it's a lot. How long will it be known? I can't tell you that, but it will be a lot. What can you tell me? These scars still aren't healing, but I'm proud because I got something in return. What will I get for this one now? I can't tell you that, but it's a lot? Bullshit, you said all that before. You have no idea, do you? No, and while I'm alive, I never will. And when you're dead, you can't write anymore or feel. So get to it while you can. They love you, man. No. You're confused. They love you. I'm just a tool of pain and syntax, metaphor and malevolence, rhyme and weakness. But without his tools, what can a builder do? Use God, so duh, anything he fucking wants to. But more glorious made by greatness pouring from the bruised, the broken, the underdog, the humble meek. And whose glory? His? And I hate to say this, but what about me? Keep your booze and bruises, razors and abuses, dying bones be gone because I fucking refuse this. I'm done. Go torture somebody else. Your master's heaven is riding on the backs of those in hell. The devil is his tool. He doesn't need me. So take it all. I quit. Take my poetry. Give me my life, the one I earned. Let me start anew. I may need God, but writing hurts, so I don't need you. I rebuke the muse and stomp upon the phoenix ashes. I resign. I'm through, and yes, you could kill all of our asses. All of the poets who are tired of this game you play. But you don't know that. At least they're brave enough to stay and stick it out for the pay, the published books, the adoring fans. But you don't care. You could have been the greatest man to have ever written poetry despite the things that he's been through since Whitman, kid. But now that dream doesn't go to you. Selfish little shit, impatient like so many other writers. This poem could have been an anthem for all of the survivors, but you gave all that up, and you speak for those way more mature. You really don't give a fuck about poetry. You just want to be adored. Tired of the pain? Tough shit. And if you don't need my help, guess I'll leave then, James. What a waste of talent. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. I make you laugh sometime. I love that piece. This is a deeper piece. It's called I'm in Love with the Mystery of Dark Stars. I'm in love with the mystery of dark stars, of dingy hotel bathrooms, of submissive men orbiting fat, ugly women like sad moons, of sudden spasms of greatness in the night, of cigar smoke, of dead things that haven't been buried, like the Bill of Rights, of unseen planes and their window-worshipping tenants, of men who populate parks when the sun goes down, of the inner workings of the heart of a dominatrix, faithless healers, of jazz without sound, of the wind wrapping leaves around an invisible figure, of jaded women's contempt, of the beauty in tearing something apart, of breathing with words, of one hand clapping Morse codes to God, of the speed of pain versus the instant of pleasure, of female orgasms in all their thunderous glory, of the angels that spoke to Mozart, of the demons that haunted Bukowski, of death's hungry mouth, a gaping hole in the earth, of joy in the bottomless pit, of lovers wrestling in bed, naked and flailing, of the instantaneous feel of an 8-minute-long ray of sun, of the melodies of empty bottles and emptier men, of tightrope hopes above hell, of life before life after death, of this moment which passed just seconds ago but can never be reached again, of people's judgments of people, of the tiny specks of dust hanging in the air and in space, dirt all the same, of the grandeur of dragonflies, of nothing really being unknown, and in that way erasing all mysteries at once, and unifying everything as nothing, which is unknown. Thank you. This next piece is a narrative piece. It's not autobiographical, it's fictional, but it really speaks to some people, and it really hits home for some. It's called Heavy. She said she slid a blade across her arm last night, and I sighed. Wow, really? Damn, that's some heavy shit, I say. I'm leaning against the shabby-looking railing, looking up at the gray sky and fiddling with some pocket object and my phone. Someone please call me and get me out of this. Give me a reason to defer, distract, to say I have to go. But my battery is low, so forget it. I don't think I can take her telling me this. I think I'm angry, but I don't act like I care. She follows me outside and leans with her arms hanging off the side, cigarette precariously perched between her fingers some 3 stories above certain death. She tells me her ex-boyfriend came over a week ago to smoke pot and fuck and wound up stealing her meds. Is that right? That son of a bitch. I really don't give 2 shits about him, but I figure it's all background noise anyway. What else can I say? This chick is a mind fuck, I'm telling you. But I like her, I guess. I didn't really start listening to her talk until the part about cutting. My scarred wrists have ears. I pull my sleeves down a little tighter around them as if I wanted to deafen them from what else she might say. And as if on cue, she returns to the subject. So anyway, he's part of the reason why I cut last night. I'm just so damn frustrated with him, and there's no other outlet, you know? You could try writing, I thought to myself. Well, you shouldn't do that anymore, I said. I don't want to get any calls about you. No one is worth you doing that. I'm such a fucking hypocrite. I sound concerned because, well, I guess I am. I mean, don't get me wrong. The only reason I know this chick is business as usual, but, you know, we do our thing and go separate ways, but I figure even fuck buddies have a code or something, right? Well, I do, anyway. She shifts on the rail and looks at me all serious. This is gonna sting. I know her. Yeah, well, that's all well and good, but let's be blunt here. You wouldn't even be here today if you weren't fucking me. I mean, if you really care, well, I guess you could. You're not like Anthony or anything, but I guess I just need a way out, and I'm not trying to make you it or whatever, but damn it, I need something. Hey, can you maybe give me a ride somewhere? I don't know why, but the first thought in my mind was junkie. But in the hopes I was wrong, and also because, duh, I fucked her today, you'd think I'd noticed track marks on her arm instead of razor lines of dried blood. I decided to say, yeah, sure, where you need to go. It goes without saying that with my salary and in this economy, I drive a piece of shit Honda. Actually, that's a lie, I'm sorry. I drive my mother's piece of shit Honda. And God help me, should I ding or dent or scratch her already twice banged up, puke yellow piece of shit Honda. To the grocery store, I get about $200 in food stamps, and it's about time to restock the snackage pantry. Plus, I need to get more booze, cigarettes, and a few box meals. Sure, we can stop at Super Saver Plus over there. My uncle used to be a stalker there. If she heads for the aisles with razors in it, I'm just going to hope she needs to shave. But I'll still be nervous. If only I was here last night, I tell myself. Maybe I could have proved I cared and stopped her from being an idiot. Yeah, because my experiences have rendered me as wise and not full of shit or backsliding at all. But that's besides the point. We both throw our jackets on, lock the door, and walk down 3 quick flights of stairs. I unlock my mummy's disgusting precious POS, and we just sit there for a while after I crank it up, with our hands to the heater, waiting for it to kick in. I steal a quick glance at her. Something grabs me inside, out of nowhere and strong. I honestly don't know if it was pity, love, or some sickening new emotion in between, but I threw myself upon her, lips touching lips and my hands finding their way to her already warm sides. What was this? I wasn't horny and she wasn't really my type. I mean, we made out for a good 5 minutes. I'm not going to undersell it. It surprised me, because I expected her to immediately back off and be like, what the fuck? When we broke lips and my fingers uncurled themselves from around her hips, I looked at her with a fiery passion unusually alien to me. Usually alien to me unless I'm pissed, drunk, horny, or all 3. If you ever cut yourself again, I will fucking leave. And you won't see me again, ever. I just can't. I can't take it. So there it was, heavy and hanging in the tense silence somewhere between romance and reality, between anger and compassion. There was nothing that could be done about it. It was like, yeah, this just happened. She started to say something, but it became indistinguishable as words became sudden sobs, which heaved her tiny body like a ship on the angry sea. I held her as she cried, and the Eagles came on the radio station. I turned up Take It Easy as I let my arms enfold her. I guess I cared a lot more than I thought I did. No wonder the sex was so good. I mean, we both know what it's like to cut. I think I love her. And that's heavy. And there's almost no way to describe it, except that if there's one word I have to describe this poem, it's intestinal. So it's not a very pretty word, but yeah, it's just one of those gut pieces. This is called Expelled. The gag reflex throws itself up. There is nothing left to expel. All out in the open, secrets of a recluse, vomited upon walking souls in stardust, covered in my innards. Men who just knew me became me, demonstrating my pain and private sufferings to walled-up masses who never so much as drool a secret. My stomach is so empty as to be non-existent. The page regurgitated, and all there is left to read is wet ink. There are no words. The raw elements have been expunged from out of the pretension of syntax. No articulation or description, just ink and the smell of acid-dissolved paper. My love poems are ruined. There is nothing sweet left. The fermentation process has been disrupted. Only the source material remains. I feel sick. I must lie down while they decipher my insides and operate on my organs, touching every hidden bloody thing I ever housed. The cage of the monster is being cleaned out. The beast is being studied under harsh light. They have cut out his tongue, and all he can do is scream. He loves his cage. We love our entrapments, safeties, hiding places that define us, places that we complain about being trapped within but cannot do without. Exposure is cold and bright, ugly and embarrassing. Someone must reach out and pull out this lovely tumor I've grown attached to, bend down and suck out this delicious poison that I thrive upon. Withdrawal begins. I cannot breathe. I need the fix you have taken. I've expelled it all and fucked myself inside out. Can you see an entry point, an exit wound? What shot through me so long ago with such incredible speed? Or has it lodged itself comfortably against the ventricle? Stop the heart to save my life. No metaphor now. I do not mean emotion. My heart beats raw ink, pulsing and pumping whole books worth of pain, patient rage, and imprints of lovers' shoes on their way out. Read that and get the fuck back to me. I am done. I need to be rehydrated and fed. My mouth is closing in on accepting help, biting stubbornly down before they can spoon feed me white lies back to health. The raw beast drowns in alcohol and pure truth, being killed and preserved and jarred up right in front of me. It's like watching yourself die. There was nothing in me he did not exhibit the best of while showing us his worst. He was mine. And what have you done? Heal me? I cannot cough anymore. The virus that kept me coughing kept me breathing. What did you do? You killed it. There are no words. You've destroyed the best real poet that ever fucking lived in order to save the cage from rusting. You make no fucking sense. I have thrown up every dark and red demon for your study, for your principles, for you to say you saved me. But who said I wanted exorcism? My gut hurts. There's nothing left to digest with. There's no middle ground between beauty and shit now. Why am I still hungry? The beast was eating me alive and feeding me at the same time, eating my brokenness and shitting out greatness in words, defecating brilliance right into my inky bloodstream. What the fuck have you done? I cannot even recognize the power of this pen now, or write about how the beast in the jar looks at me, like me, through me, as me. Can't even put into words how I can see him from across the room in his jar and yet still taste alcohol in my now tongueless mouth. I miss being eaten. The pain is nowhere to go but down and out, and nothing can ever turn it into beauty again. You have coldly exhumed my soul. You've cleaned me. Yes, you saved me. And you know what? I fucking hate you for it. The raw, bloody lump of brilliance on the floor could have been a masterpiece, but I guess you want to study the bird embryo inside of the broken egg and kill it in the process, instead of learning things from watching it grow up and fly. The only way you learn is to just dissect, exercise, kill, exhume, preserve, and expel. And you still haven't learned a goddamn thing. That's kind of okay. My last piece, I wanted to make sure I didn't bogart the mic. My last piece is a short one, thank God. It's called Parts, and it's one of my favorites, and it's why I put it in this book. This is Parts. She had 2 hearts when she loved me. She had 12 fingers when she scratched my back. She had 8 eyes when she cried, and 4 when she laughed. She had 11 tongues when the clock struck 12. She had 3 hands, or maybe 6 when she loved me. She had 20 backbones when she defended me, and none when she looked in the mirror. She had 1 voice that sounded like 2 when she cried out. She had 1,000 feet when she ran. She had 5 pairs of breasts when she loved me. There was more of her than I could ever count or appreciate when she loved me. But she doesn't anymore. And all I have left of her is 1 whole heart, leftover pieces from the 2 that I broke. Thank you, too.